qualitative analysis will be a different genre, will be a different part. So we'll be looking at the third aspect, we'll be looking at that. So please, I'm looking for your queries on this. What are the queries? What are the challenges you are facing? Anyone who can unmute yourself? And
Sir, first of all, formatting a proper question and then how to analyze that data.
no, queries from the previous session.
Yeah.
Queries
Okay.
from the previous session.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Those who were not able to follow me, or like after the session you have tried to perform something and you're not able to do that.
Excuse me.
Yes, bro.
You are talking about previous session. I was thinking we are starting from afresh. My name is George. Yeah.
Pardon your query, please.
I'm asking, I thought we are starting afresh. You are referring to a previous session, which I did not attend.
Okay.
So is it that we are starting afresh, or this is a continuation of what has been going on?
This will be the initial 10-15 minutes. We are not starting from afresh. We are starting from whatever we have discussed into the previous class.
तो सर्वे डेटा वाला थोड़ा सा बता देंगे दोबारा करने को.
Correct, I'll do that.
So Dr. Kaurav, my request
Yes.
is, I'm Dr. Savita Gautam.
Yes.
My request is that, like last time you had explained very well that we have to take the plus version. So apparently I thought that I was working on the plus version only, but then when I was redoing it, I realized that it was the other version, the pro version.
There is no difference or hardly any difference in pro and plus.
So they don't allow us. Firstly, I just want to confirm that they are not allowing us to do plus version download. Pro is only there. So
you
only
need
thing
not to
is,
worry for that. Let me help you in understanding.
So only thing is that we are right now for the second class, we've not practiced as much as we should have. So maybe just a run through as was
okay.
The
whole run through will be a bit challenging, but I'll try my best.
Okay, or we look at your recording. Actually, I was not able.
That will be a better idea, because otherwise those who have done it, they might find it a wastage of time.
Yeah. That's it.
So, let me compare this plus and pro. I find this question into the WhatsApp group also. The pro is having only one thing which is advanced in comparison to plus, which is a statistical data analysis, whereas plus is limited up to quantitative text analysis. So you are using plus or you are using analytics pro, there will be hardly any difference for the purpose for which you are attending this workshop.
Thank you. I think you had explained it last time.
Yeah.
And so, right.
Still there is a confusion?
No, not at all. No. Yeah.
So let me take you through. Okay, before doing this hands-on or maybe a run through of this, how this MAXQDA works, I have already opened just before this session. I have already opened the important keywords, important words for MAXQDA. How MAXQDA interface works and what are the important elements which one has to look for. There might be many confusion. There might be multiple things you might be thinking, what is this and that. First one is project. Anyone of you can help me in understanding what is a project? Anyone?
New file when we create a any kind of an activity in MAXQDA.
Project is not a single file. Project is combination of multiple files.
Yeah, maybe for the first time it's not new file. Yes.
Yeah, this is what objective of this question. Don't worry, right? Project is a combination of multiple files. You can include several transcripts, audio, video, images, whatever kind of, or maybe a research paper, or maybe a PDF file. Like on the title, you can see, I have already opened KS Coach Scholar Day 2 workshop, Day 2 project. I have started. I thought I need not to start from the beginning, but let me do it since the beginning. My screen is visible to everyone?
Yes.
The moment you click on MAXQDA 2020, or maybe if you are having a updated version, then you might be able to see 2020.4, or otherwise if you are having the same version, then only 2020 you will be able to see. At the beginning, if you are habitual, if you are multiple time have used MAXQDA, you will be able to see the name of users. And this is a MAXQDA day 2 project. So if you want to open an old project, you can click on open project. You want to open a new project, just click on new project. And they'll ask you what is the name of the new project. So I'll say KS day 2 is a new project which I wanted to open. The moment I click on save, this will say me the file already exists. Please choose a different file name. So what I'll do, KS2A, just for the convenience of every one of you, I'm making a project which is named as KS day 2A. Simply I'll click on OK. This interface, I believe everyone is familiar. This is very similar to if you are habitual of using our platform or different platforms. You can devise this interface, look at this interface. You'll be able to understand this top left version.
So please unmute yourself because I had put everybody on the mute mode.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
This window 1 is about your files. Right? Whatever files you wanted to open, whatever files you wanted to import for this project. Tab 2 or panel 2 is about the codes. Those who have used NVivo multiple times and they have just attended, they are just attending this workshop to get on their exposure for qualitative analysis, they will be able to recall in NVivo there are two terms, codes and nodes. They are synonyms of each other. Don't worry, do not compare codes and nodes. Tab 3 is about file viewer, document viewer. And tab 4 is about coded segment. Right? If you want, you can click a screenshot here. This will help you in understanding later what we have written. Whatever files you'll import, maybe it is a transcript, it is a PDF, it could be a video, it could be an audio, newspaper cutting, images, of anything could be imported here. You can create separate folders. I'm sorry. You can create separate folders clicking on these panels, and then you can arrange your files. The same folders for coding, filtering for coding, and everything could be done here for codes. If you can recall, after importing the file, after importing a document or maybe a research paper or any other thing, if you want to see the document, if you want to read the document, you can open the document, you can read that document in document viewer. And this retrieve segment, when you select files with a specific code set, you will be able to retrieve those segments, what has been selected, what has been read by the author. Let me very quickly import some files. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is a folder which I shared last time with all of you. These were the several participants. I have collected some data from these participants for the purpose of spirituality. What do they consider as spirituality? I'll attach everything into the documents folder. Done. You can do this by clicking on import and transcript, focus group, images, videos, audios. If you wanted to import several more files, probably you need to look at the video. You need to look at the video recording, which we have already seen previously. Savita ji, you have entered one document and then I don't want document from there. How do I do that? Sir, could you please explain lexical sets? We'll do that. 3 and 4 are not very clear. Don't worry, that will be clear. Done. So say, for example, you have selected, you have imported Sonal Kapoor and now you do not want to see Sonal Kapoor here. Simply select it and click on delete. That's it. You can delete all the files and then you can import from the different folder or from the different ways and from the different ways. This is a one way of handling the data. Somebody has posted this question. They are not able to understand panel 3. Correct. This is panel 3. Sony Kapoor. Whatever is the part of this question, whatever has been asked from the Sony Kapoor, you will be able to see that material, see that content here. Or you find this window is a bit clumsy, you can go home and retrieved segment could be deselected on the top, and you will be able to see the full file or the file into the one window. When you click here, you will be able to edit also this file. You will be able to add or delete some material, but I would recommend if you are not using a secure file, or if you do not have any copies or any of the copies, please do not click on edit. Otherwise, your data will be overlapped. So making codes are very easy. What is a code? We'll discuss into the second part of the session. What is a code? We'll discuss this into the second part. Now you wanted to see what is the important content which is hidden into this file. You can see Sony Rajput, and simply you can double click, or maybe you can select a word cloud here. When you click on when you double click on a word cloud, you'll be able to see lots of options, lots of functions with us. This one. So minimum frequency of a word should be 7, and the maximum word you wanted to see as 40. But you will be able to see some words which should not be here into the word cloud. Simply click on edit a stop word. You need to import a file. Either you can add a new list, or you can import a new file, or you can add to a current list, right? I have already created a file which is having about 450 words. One file need to be imported once into one project, and then every stop words will be added to the complete project. I will send you this file, don't worry. English complete is I have added. I have got about 470 words, or 412 words are there. There is another file which is having more words than this one. 412 words are there. Simply close it and then click on rearrange. You can select a format of your choice, shape, most frequent word, or maybe a different image, or maybe a different shape, whatever you want to see. You wish, you think there are few words which should not be part of this analysis. Do I have a choice to remove those words? Yes, you have a choice to remove those words. Simply right click on A and click on add to stop word list. Again A, add to stop words list, and rearrange. Then can we see two different words, two same words with a different spelling? Me, do, or, of. No. Earlier we had two A's, but right now we don't have two A's. No. Right click on I and add to stop word list, rearrange, and that's it. On, right click on this, add to stop words list, rearrange. Maybe you can increase a frequency. A word should be minimum, say for example 14-15 times. A word should be minimum as 6 times, right? What are the top amount of words which you want to see here? Word frequencies you wanted to convert, you wanted to see many of the times when you see the papers which are based on qualitative analysis, you wanted to see a table of word frequencies, just click it here, and these many times these words are available, including the number of percentage also. Display the top rank or display the top 10 words. And after removing the, and that, you will be able to get a spirituality from here, top 20 words. You will be able to get destination also. When we select top 30 words, you will be able to get people, you will be able to get other words also. This could be one way of looking at your data. Now you see, now you find spirituality is an important code, right? Simply click on spirituality, and this is somebody has asked into the what is a lexical search. Now you can see spirituality. Question, isn't it? Is it possible to have that word into the questionnaire, and how to remove that word? If you want to see that, if you want to remove the word from the questionnaire, do not include that question into the transcript. Simply post Q1 and post it to the answer of Q1, right? You wanted to code spirituality as a code, there are three options in auto code search result, auto code search results with a new codes, which is not possible. You want to see export ignore list, which is again not possible. I'll select first code, auto code search result. Quick list is empty. Click on a code to make it available in quick list. Okay, spirituality. The problem? No. I had made a mistake. You can see code sheet is blank right now. You wanted to see this, or you wanted to code something, or you wanted to this one experience. Double click on it and quick list is empty. Click on a code to make it available in the quick list. What's the problem? No? Facing a problem with this. Probably this is the first time when save numbers of hit per document as document per no. You can see this is again coding system, which is again not complete. In fact, the lexical search is not complete here. Experiences or other ways. I'll come back to this problem. I'll look at this situation why we are not able to convert experience. However, I'm not sure if you can double click on experience and click on that. Okay, I was pressing a wrong button. I must admit, I was pressing a wrong button. We do not have any code here in the list, and that is why this was giving me an error. So do we want to have a new code on this? Experience, yes, we want to have experience. You want to give it a new color, orange one. You wanted to attach a memo and click on OK. Only experience is a code. We had a discussion how to add weight to the discussion. You wanted to complete paragraph on that, one sentence before and one sentence after to that, and paragraph this one. One sentence before and one sentence after is always better. Simply click on auto code and 4 document segments coded. Now you can see segments here, experience here. When we select Sony and experience together and retrieval document is activated, you'll be able to see what has been coded in terms of segments, right? So this is one way of looking at it. However, there are multiple ways of looking at it. Because Sony has one codes, probably we can talk about single case model, coded segments. And you can see Sony Rajput has coded about these many things. These were the words of sentences, and you wanted to describe or something, you wanted to add something to this, they could be added to this, right? I'm sure a basic run through of the software was only this. Software is not very complex until you deep dive into the complexities, right? So there are a few other questions in the chat box, and I'll definitely handle those questions just after. If once I complete whatever I have already planned for the today's session, I'll definitely come back to this complete discussion. right? So we'll start with the CAQDAS. You might be wondering what is CAQDAS. Sir has bring in a new topic. Sir has bring in a new discussion which is not part of agenda. CAQDAS is computer assisted qualitative data analysis softwares, right? So most of the good research papers, most of the papers which have been published into at least from B category or A category or these many categories, they must ask you if you have used CAQDAS, why not you have used some advanced tools? However, the very simpler response to this question, our objective is not to make things difficult, our objective is to make things easier. Right, so CAQDAS is a very popular term in that way, but qualitative data analysis, how we look at the different data, and more importantly, when to apply which type of test. Ranga Swamiji, can you send these PPTs for 1 day and 2, and later as and when days are covered? No, that's not possible. These PPTs are updated day by day, but the moment I'll complete my session, I'll definitely send those PPT within next 10 or 15 minutes. Sending these PPTs in a day advance is not possible, right? Yes. So how do we proceed with the qualitative data? This is very important to all of us. What is the purpose? As we have discussed in earlier sessions, also in earlier discussion, also in earlier YouTube videos also, we wanted to understand the social reality. We do not want to see the misleading things which somebody has posted into a question, right? Which is misleading to the situation. I do not want to ask which type of cold drink you generally take, a bottled cold drink or a canned cold drink. I'm 110% sure nowadays nobody is trying to purchase a bottled cold drink if they are having budget for a canned cold drink. Maybe because of hygienity? Yes, that's correct. So we wanted to understand the social reality, the ultimate objective, the ultimate method of understanding social reality is not a quantitative method, is a qualitative method, right? Most of the time our objective is inductive. Most of the time, I'm not saying every time, most of the time we are inductive in nature, particular to general. We are not deductive, general to particular. Can you recall the example which I have given into the last class? What do I mean by inductive and deductive coding? I have given you an example of 2 TV crime suspense thrillers. Can you help me in recalling which one was inductive? Yeah, CID and Crime Patrol. Correct, Deepika. Which one was inductive? Crime Patrol is inductive or CID is inductive? Probably those who are from the foreign land will not be able to understand. CID is inductive, or somebody is saying Crime Patrol is inductive. It's very challenging. So those who are from foreign land, they'll be able to recall a few TV episodes from ID Discovery ID channel, right? Inductive means you know nothing about the situation. You are trying to understand when you are trying to explore, right? And Crime Patrol is, yes, inductive, because in Crime Patrol they find a body suddenly in a day into a jungle or into any situation. They find a dead body. They even don't know whose dead body it is. They don't have any idea. They have found a body in MH, Maharashtra. Maybe that body is from northeast the country. That's very surprising to them. Identify from where that body is, identifying what is the situation, identifying different perspective on that front. And when you recall the deductive one, which is a CID, general to particular, they know whose murder is here. They know who are the parties, who to suspect. If there are 5-6 members in a party, then these 6 or 1 has got murdered, then these 5 are the suspect. They know everything, and then they try to remove one. Okay, out of these 5, this one is out. He is not a criminal. Okay, then we'll redo this loop. The second one is out. Now rest three are found as a suspect. This is how we need to conduct in terms of social sciences or in terms of research also. Not sure. I'm not sure how many of you have seen Alice the Wonderland. Where do you place Sherlock Holmes? I have read the stories of what is that Indian character? Forgetting that name. Indian Indian character, not the Sherlock Holmes. A copy of Sherlock Holmes. Byomkesh Bakshi, yes, Amrapali. I've heard this story. Byomkesh has generally applied deductive approach. Byomkesh Bakshi. Byomkesh has applied generally deductive approach. I find in terms of a story, in terms of comparison, Byomkesh has used most of the pattern. I'm not sure with the Satyajit Ray. Yes, Satyajit, yeah, correct. Said so himself that discussion in this book itself talks to the deductive method. Yes, correct. I'm sure you'll be able to recall this session. You'll be able to recall this discussion for whole life. Otherwise, for about years, even after submitting my PhD thesis, I was having this confusion: what is inductive and what is deductive. People have many of the books or many of the trainers have shown me this onion skull, and if you remove this onion skull and you are having a journalistic perspective and you are looking for particular, this is deductive. But what is this onion skull? What is this onion? Scaling this onion? I never get it. So I connected it with some suspense, crime, thrillers, movies, and other ways, and I'm able to connect. Okay, how many of you have seen the Alice the Wonderland? Okay, I'm not sure you will be able to recall this episode with me. There is a small girl who is lost in a jungle. Suddenly sees Alice in Wonderland. Yes, I've seen this years before. A girl was asking to a monkey. Monkey is on the tree. Where to go? There are two paths. Monkey asks her again, where you want to go? And then girl said, I don't know where I want to go. She's asking to a cat. Not sure. I've seen it years before. That cat, if it is a cat, that cat has asked to that girl, where you want to go? Girl said, no, I don't know where I want to go. And then cat replied, move anywhere. Does it make any difference when you do not know where to go? You move into any direction. Are you able to connect the situation with the qualitative analysis? Many of the scholars ask me, sir, qualitative analysis approach is better or quantitative analysis approach is better? I say, what is your objective? So they say, my objective is to write PhD. I said, move any direction. Where you want to go? What is your objective? If you're not clear, say, for example, I've just come out of my house and I'm asking to a person where this road goes. He asked me, where you want to go? I said, I wanted to go Delhi. He said, no, this is an incorrect path for you. When I say I do not want where I want to go, will he be able to help me? So these theories, these principles, these everything will be able to help you once you know what is your objective. Something black is covering half of the screen. I'll just stop sharing and then we'll reshare it again. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
So these principles, inductive, deductive, coding, lexical, these things will help me in understanding once I know my objective, until and unless I know what is my objective of the thesis, what is the objective of my research, I'm sure this will be quite misleading to all of you. Sorry. So qualitative analysis is very importantly is about noticing. What is said is important, but what is not said, what is intentionally hidden, what is intentionally not said. So sometimes maybe sarcasm, sometimes maybe fear, sometimes maybe fear of superior, sometimes maybe fear of family members. And this is why I believe most of the girls who has faced some bad things into their childhood are not able to share this with, even with their family members. The reason is being because they have not noticed this. They have not noticed it. And that is why they do not collect it, this data. And that is why they do not think on this approach. If you wanted to believe, if you wanted to be a qualitative researcher, you need to notice the thing, you need to collect the data and then thinking approach, which type of approach you are following. For understanding it very deep, somebody has asked in the previous session, sir, we wanted to know some references also. We wanted to have some references also. So I've given these references for your support. Freeze 2011 has written a paper about noticing, collecting, and thinking approach for a qualitative researcher. So being a qualitative researcher, what skills you should possess, he has written down, he has noted down everything for your help. Yes, Bharvi, these becomes discretion of researcher. And that is why the researcher in the qualitative research, the researcher who falls into the qualitative research need to be very smart in that way. One, and need not to be biased. A few days before, I was talking to one gentleman. He's a director of a very reputable institution. We were just discussing about one of the institution, and he replied, "Okay, you're talking about that institution?" I said, "Yes, that is led by females." that female is running that institution. I said, "Sir, does it really make a difference?" And then he was, no, I don't want to mend that. I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to this, I'm trying this and that. Yes. You need to understand this is not a kind of sarcasm, but this is unintentional approach which he has shared with me. I need to be very smart and I need not to be biased. If I'm biased, if I'm also of his opinion, okay, that particular institution or that particular thing is run by probably females, is not a suitable platform, I could have started believing him. So the one who start believing in others' opinion, in others' idea is not a suitable person for qualitative research. Right? Once you have heard somebody to say the temples are, in temples you'll find lots of blessings, and you have started believing, you're not a suitable person for qualitative research. You must ask this question, why I get blessings into the temple only? I'm not criticizing any culture, I'm not criticizing any religion, I'm criticizing approach. How many of you have seen a movie, this Tiwari is there, forgetting this name, Sanjay Tiwari. Can you help me recalling this movie? Sanjay Tiwari's, when he asked, are you saying today is Sunday? I don't know, maybe. Shane, this will take not more than 1 minute to recall me. Sanjay Tiwari movie. Right? A researcher must have a mind, not Sanjay Tiwari, Sanjay Mishra. Aankhon Dekhi, yes. How many of you have seen this movie, Aankhon Dekhi? If you have not seen, and if you wanted to be a qualitative researcher, you must see it. What is an inquisitive mind which a qualitative researcher needs? Aankhon Dekhi, Sanjay Mishra has played a very, very crucial, tremendous, beautiful role. Probably foreign lenders, international participants will not be able to understand, but these are very important lines. Bhai sahab, ye sher hai. Hoga, main nahi manta. Somebody is asking you, This is somebody sharing this with you. This is a line, and he's saying, I don't care. Very, very impressive movie. And I recommend this movie to all the researchers. If you are not having access, just try to get these. Yes. Netflix or Prime, I'm not sure, Sangeeta ji. I'm not sure. Just look at it. Aankhon dekhi. Brilliant qualitative researchers' mind you will be able to observe in this movie. Brilliant one. When I observed this movie years before, this was released somewhere in before 2010, I think. When I observed this movie, I was not able to connect it. But few days before, when I was observing this movie, I thought, oh my God, I was looking at this. I must train my students. I must train my participants on this. Probably those who are from foreign land, they will be able to get English transcripts, English subtitles of this movie on, if it is available on Netflix or Prime, or maybe somebody is saying on Hotstar. Right? You must see it. If you wanted to be a qualitative researcher, you must see this movie. Aankhon dekhi. You won't believe how impressive this movie is. Probably before, if you observe this movie before to the next session, which is on Sunday, just give me a feedback. How is that movie? Right? If you are into the qualitative data analysis approach, if you wanted to be a qualitative data analysis researcher, you need to start noticing the thing. You need to collect those things. And then very, very importantly, you need to think about those things which have been collected by you. How to proceed with the qualitative data analysis. This is my screen is again. Can you see my screen? Just a minute.
It's visible, sir.
Was it visible? Yes. Is it visible again?
Yes, visible.
Yeah. So Seidel, and in 1998, has written a paper on how to proceed with the qualitative research, how you need to start the qualitative research. I'm sure after today's session, you'll be downloading these papers and you will be looking at these contents, and even if not before Sunday, then probably before next Saturday, you'll come back to me and you'll ask, these were very good sources to kick-start a qualitative researcher's path. Which style is being followed by MAXQDA? That's a different thing. Up to this point, we are talking about what is a suitable style for a researcher. But from this slide, we'll be talking about what are the styles and what are the approaches which has been followed by MAXQDA for supporting our research. So we need to start from the very first point. What is that first point? This multiple times I recommend to all the research scholars, to all the researchers of qualitative, read and interpret the text. Text what is written, text what is not written, text what is said, text what is not said. It's very, very important to all the research. Then you need to think about build categories. Now you might be thinking, what is the categories? So say, for example, you are having 5-6 different approaches or maybe 10-20 interviews. You need to understand what are their major thinking approach, what are their major challenges. After reading these 7, 9, 10, 20, 50 transcripts, you need to understand what are the major things. Then you will be starting codings. What are the major things? Then you will be starting codings, segmenting the text. So say, for example, out of the 10 transcripts, so say, for example, you are following an approach, you are trying to classify personality traits, not big 5. How many of you are able to recall hexacode? Those who are from human resources, they'll very immediately identify. Those who are from marketing, they can also identify, but probably finance people will not be able to identify hexacode personality types. Expecting a full form into the chat box, right? So identifying a good chunk of people, how many of these interviews, how many of these samples belongs to different segments, so belongs to different personality traits. Segmenting, coding, identifying who belongs to where. how to identify things which are said during the interview. Deepika Upadhyay ji, correct. That's a very impressive question. When you are collecting the data, I'll be covering this question while I'll be talking about data collection with the help of interview, which is the second part of today's session. You can give me a reminder. We a researcher, try to make several codes, because while we are, yes, nowadays we are technologically very advanced. You can have some audio recordings, audio recording devices, or some transcribing software. One of you have already asked about a question. Can you please recommend a software which is transcribing? Who has asked this question? Not able to get. See, yes, there are multiple softwares, but I would not recommend automated transcribing. Why I would not recommend? Even those who are native English speakers, the software confuses with them. Those who are even native English speakers, software confuses with them, and I'm sure you'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say. We are not native English speaker, and what we say, what computers understand, is always very challenging. Sometimes it could make senses for you, sometimes it couldn't make senses. Right? That's a real challenge with all of us. Still, if you wanted to make some transcribing with the automated one, you can use Google Office. However, MS Office is also a good one, but Google Office transcribing, Google MS Office, MS Word transcription is better than all other softwares. This is what is my experience. Probably, if you are a better English speaker, or you find your responses or your samples are better English speaker, you can go to the better quality, better terms of softwares also. Right? MS Office is a good package for transcribing. Google Office is, I find, is a better. When you have devised whatever codes, whatever theories you were able to identify, you need to go for analysis. Right? And then when you go for analysis, after that, you need to present your results. Right? I'll show you one of the paper. Let me see which is the next slide. Yes, but before discussing this, which test to be applied when? Before discussing this, let me show you one of the paper. Just my screen is visible.
Not yet, sir.
This one is my paper. Where is that? This one. New education policy, content analysis, sentiment analytics, and everything. What we did, we have identified the national education policy first. This is what is a national education policy, because we wanted to analyze only higher education section. So we have divided that PDF file, though it was a 96 pages document, but finally we were able to, like, for our purposes, for our needs, we have divided that file. This one. Methodology. Computer assisted qualitative data analysis software was applied, right? And qualitative analysis research adopts a prevalent form of analysis. Public records could be analyzed, personal documents could be analyzed, and where is that? The national policy document NEP was downloaded from the website of this. The English version of the document is of 66 pages, was used for analysis for the specified purpose of this study. The higher education section was separated from the whole study, which is considered a separate document of 18 pages. This policy document, along with the other Twitter sentiments, was analyzed to achieve the research objective. Correct? So this is a one way of looking at it, how you wanted to, what we have started with. First, we have made a word cloud. However, I'm having multiple good research, other research papers also. I'll show you that. First, we have done a qualitative. First, we have done a this word cloud. Then we have done a tree map, project map. How project maps look like? Higher education systems, higher education policy concerns, courses, languages, and students were three important concerns. Like somebody was asking me, sir, can you please help us in where is that? Single case, coded segment. Yes, somebody was asking this question. Can you please help us in understanding what this model is saying? So this model is same. Soni Rajput is talking about experiences, and these are the 4 or 5 different types of experiences. I need to rename them. Maybe along with the Soni Rajput, there could be other person who is having the same feeling, or maybe Soni Rajput could have 2 different feelings, experiences, and spirituality. So this is how we need to look at these diagrams. This is how we need to look at this. So this was can you help me in understanding? Can you help me in recalling in which phase I am? If I have created this type of a graph, in which phase I am? Look at this slide and help me in understanding in which phase I am. You can do any analysis with any software. Software is not a deal. Yes, code segment, correct. It's not a result. The result is yes, presentation of that. But I have identified, I've read that complete document, and I find the focus of the document, the concern, the challenges for the document is the challenges for the documents are courses, languages, and student. So I was trying to give them the code. Which type of coding it is, deductive or inductive? I'll send this paper to everyone, don't worry. Inductive. Can we have a poll here? How many of you believe this chart is an inductive coding or deductive coding? Not sure. Can we have a poll here? And
The poll is here available at the bottom of your screen.
hello.
It's at the bottom of the screen.
So I'm sorry.
As a poll, if you want to create a poll, it's there at the bottom of your screen. Just next to participants.
Just next to participants. Okay. No.
No?
No. I've not used Zoom since long. Right.
Should I create it?
Yes, if you can, like.
Yeah,
Let me
I'll just
understand how many of them believe this one is an inductive coding or this one is a deductive coding. Coding is not an option with me, I think.
And I think it will take long because it is taking me to this.
Okay, then let me understand how many of you can raise your hand and how many of you believe this one is an inductive coding. Let me look at this list of participants. Only 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7, 9, 10, 11. 11 believes this one is an inductive coding. Okay. General two party. Correct. So this is a way. If you wanted to identify the very simplistic, it is an inductive coding or it is a deductive coding. Whenever it is a deductive coding, we have the codes in the code, which is the first part in our hand, and then we start coding it. So say, for example, we have codes, language, and students in our hands, and then we need to segregate whole data in these 3 codes. This is deductive. But when you, after reading this text, after reading this material, after reading to the sentiments of other, we will find these were three important concerns of higher education policy, and we were able to do that. There is a project map, then there is a concept map, and then sentiment analytics, and then those are the later or advanced stages for that. Correct. I believe you will never forget, after today's session, you will never forget what is inductive and what is deductive, which is the primary concern for any qualitative researcher. You always need to understand what is inductive and what is qualitative. So now let us understand what type of, in what type of situation, in which question, which type of analysis could be performed. So say, for example, if your question is, what are the major themes in the speeches of Prime Minister Narendra Modi? That is related to COVID-19. What are the major areas of new education policies? What are the challenges of farmers' suicidal tendency? What makes one social media celebrity? Which type of content is being offered to the social media platform? What are the challenges? Okay, this question is repeated here. What is the hidden in the mission or vision statement of Fortune 500 companies? Why they are successful? One could analyze. One who is from finance background probably will be. That's a very impressive idea. We wanted to analyze the top 100 CV listed companies. What is hidden in their mission or vision? Why they are successful? Is there anything? Is there a secret in their mission or vision statement? Those who are teaching strategic management, they'll find it very impressive, very realistic situation. But those who are not teaching strategic management, they'll find it, or teaching financial management, they'll find it very difficult, very difficult practice. The pains of a life of a cancer patient. You have got several diaries of a cancer patient. You wanted to understand how they felt. What are the most extolled values of Nobel Prize speeches? What are the frequencies? Why they have been very popular? Right? In these situations, this is not separated by a slash. However, in these situations, you need to perform content analysis or thematic analysis. Anyone will help you. You'll be able to understand. You'll be looking at search for pattern of the data. Which idea are most recurring, multiple times repeating? When Narendra Modi is saying, like, let me help you in understanding, when Narendra Modi ji is talking about COVID-19, he talk about safety. He talk about security measures of the country. He talks about, can you help me in recalling? Yes, Sangeeta ji, portrayal of women in Hollywood movies. Yes. How Indian advertisement, how Indian television advertisements are exploiting women. An advertisement of everything which is related to a home. Maybe it is a surf excel, or maybe it is a soap, toiletries. Except this Aman Jindal, or if it is a Jindal, except this Aman in what is the product he advertised? Toilet cleaner. Sorry. Yes, Aritra. That's very good statement from your side. Stereotyping women's role in advertising. Correct. Because this is what is a recurring. But you have not seen the questions. What is the question? Question is the research question. The research preposition always starts from what? Right? Nobody is asking why. Nobody is asking how. Nobody is asking any other question. The question which is always related to what? What is the pains of life of a cancer patient? Right? If you are into this situation, if you are looking at these concerns, content analysis or thematic analysis, many of you ask me multiple times, multiple researchers ask me, sir, what is the difference between content analysis or thematic analysis? Do you want me to open the secret? That's very secretive secret. Themes are what? Can you help me in recalling? Themes are what? Didn't you find themes are a kind of content? Correct. There is no confusion. There is no difference in content analysis and thematic analysis. These are the different variants of content analysis. Themes are the kind of contents. Many of the research scholars, many of you ask this question, pose this question. So, can you please help us in understanding what is the difference in content analysis and a thematic analysis? So, if you are doing manually, this is a content analysis, and if you are doing with the help of a software, and one software could result every theme, all the themes which are surrounding to your documents, which are sometimes even not read from your document. Thematic analysis, is that a difference? No, themes are again a kind of content, right? I believe you understand. Themes are a kind of content. So when somebody is asking you to have done thematic analysis, it is not a content analysis. You can tell them themes are what? Themes are a kind of, or a, you can say, variant of content analysis. Correct? What is the ultimate objective? Recurrence, repetition. Where a theme could be said to be a construct which could be further dissect. Yes. Kind of factor, a kind of a kind of construct, a kind of factor. Theme is a collection. Yes, theme is a collection of contents, a specialized variety, a specialized variant of content. Ultimate objective is recurrence. How many times it is recurring? Correct? Are you able to understand when to apply content analysis or thematic analysis? Any doubt on this point? When to apply thematic analysis or when to apply content analysis? We have multiple questions here to look at. Aritra ji is saying no, sir. You mean you didn't get anything? Okay. So these were many examples of content analysis or thematic analysis. Say, for example, you wanted to understand what are the important things or what are the important criteria which one has faced during lockdown. We have interviewed somebody, say we have faced challenges while purchasing groceries. One will say we have found a lot of challenges while purchasing vegetables. One will say we have faced many challenges while purchasing maybe toiletries. But there are challenges which are related to purchasing. What is the recurrence? Recurrence is not of groceries. Recurrence is not of toiletries. Recurrence is of purchasing is a major challenges which all of us has faced during the lockdown. What is the second challenge which all of us has faced during the lockdown? Panic buying. The moment Prime Minister has announced a lockdown, travel is the third challenge. We could not travel, though we are fond of. All of us are, that is why somebody has said, this was in a subject of social science when I was in class 6. Man is a social animal. When our objective are related to what, we should go for content analysis. 100% correct. Who is this brilliant person? Deepika ji. Yes. Whenever your objective is related to what? Whenever your objective is related to, you wanted to see some recurrence? Yes. Wanted to see some recurrence? Yes. Reoccurrence? Yes. You need to perform content analysis or thematic analysis. Is there any further doubt on when to perform content or thematic analysis? No. Sangeeta ji is having some doubts still. Okay, we'll take your question towards that. Please note down it. It is a very important question for all of us. Whenever your question is related to why or how, Why farmers are committing suicide? My objective is not to understand the reoccurrence. My objective is not to understand the frequency, the percentage, the count. My objective is to understand the cause. Might have got only one frequency, does not make a difference to me. What makes a difference to me? Somebody has indicated a cause, and that cause is having several effects. And there are several mediating or moderating factors. There are some abstraction of realities. And you'll find these things are hidden from the text. You'll find these things are not given clearly to the interviews. Nobody will say you that that farmer has particularly has committed suicide because of a family pressure. And what is this family pressure? His daughter was about to marry. Okay, but is there a pressure here? No. He was not in a situation to find a suitable groom to her daughter. Again, this is not the solution. Why he is not able to find a suitable groom? Because he was running the money crunch. He was running the less of money, right? And when he was running the less of money, he has committed suicide. Why he is running with the crunch of money? Because he was already surviving on credit from some bank. Now people from bank or people from other loan offerer was trying to recover their money. Everything is about they are suffering from the money. Is it a solution? What do you say? Debt trap? I've not still explained grounded theory, anything. Sangeeta ji, please post these things to the WhatsApp group also. This will help everyone. Good, very good. So what was the first thing? Grounded theory. Okay. What you are not still able to understand what is grounded theory. Grounded theory is generally, if you read a paper which is based on grounded theory, they generally commit, we have done 3-level coding, right? Let me show you one paper on grounded theory, probably then you will be able to understand. Sangeeta ji, please clarify the difference between thematic and content also. Again. That's very difficult question in that way. I was having a paper from, yes, Ajoy Kumar De. Listen to my story. Contribution of patients to their healthcare through effective communication with the doctors. Ajoy Kumar De, I know many of you are from Delhi, right? And you must know about Ajoy Kumar De. He's a professor at BIMTech. Just search. This. As the objective of data analysis was to explore the contribution of inpatient in their healthcare through effective communication at multi-specialty hospitals, through regular comparison and interplay between data gathering and data analysis. Grounded theory approach was found to be most appropriate. It theorizes a social progression and is tested and proven to be the preferred methodology in naturalistic inquiry. Important thing is naturalistic inquiry. in under research areas such as inpatient communication. Figure 1 displays the entire coding process. And what is the figure 1? This one. Do I need to rotate it? No. But before that, let me show you that 3-level coding. The data were analyzed with the 3-level of coding approach. Again, coding was initiated by taking all transcripts of interviews of patients, and doctors are coding to 3 levels. Open, selective, and theoretical. This one is very important. Open, selective, and theoretical. I'll come to a diagram. And what are those codes? These term theme. Somebody is still asking difference between contents and theme. So these codes, the term theme is used to define a fundamental unit of data with meaning that the necessary to present qualitative research finding. It is recurring uniformity emerging from the exploration of qualitative data and captures the essence of experience of meaning. As the final themes appeared, a second data source from hospital artifacts was coded. Proposed chants at any stage were incorporated in the coding, and process was repeated until theoretical saturation was reached. I don't have a choice for right? Theoretical saturation. You must be hearing this saturation. I'll be repeating this saturation. So many of you have started searching on, started Googling. Yes, Ranga Swamiji. When interaction of researcher is intensive with the participant to find reality. Yes. Constant comparison method is the same mentioned here. Yes, again, yes. Could you please help us meaning of the second data source in the text that you have read? Second data source was, they have collected the data from 2 different sources, one from doctor and second one from patient. Saturation is when no further meaning can be found. Yes, Ranga Swamiji, but I will recover this. What do I mean by saturation? 3-level coding again, please. Yes. Is there option to rotate? Yes, rotate right. So these were the demographics of these: justification, criteria, doctor's count, and again justification. And now you can see this is a demographic type of a table prepared for current research. Now let me come to the 3-level coding. This will be in between. In the previous class, one of the participants was asking about, sir, are you talking about Excel coding? Yes. So when we have many transcripts in our hands, say for example, I am having 5 interview transcripts or maybe 10 interview transcripts. I will have to start from many pages of the text. Then after reading of those 10 pages, after reading of those 10 manuscripts, I'll summarize this whole cover. So say for example, these 10 interview transcripts are of 10 pages each, 100 pages, many segments. I'll identify important 50 pages. Then I'll identify 30, 40 important codes which are relevant to this material, which are relevant to these interview transcripts. Then coding need to be reduced to 20. Then again, coding need to be reduced to 5 to 7 items. These 5 to 7 items are called as theme. They are again code. They are again content. These 5 to 7 items are called as themes. These 5 to 7 items, if you are a quantitative approach researcher, these could also be called as factor. These could also be called as construct. These could also be called as basis of model builder. Right? So ultimate approach of grounded theory, though we are doing with the different forms, with the different types of codes. But the ultimate objective of grounded theory is not to identify the scatter themes, the scatter contents. The objective of grounded theory is to reach to the conclusion, reach to the cause, reach to the effect, what is Taking 3 level down is very important. Let me give you another example. What do I mean by 3 level down? Sorry. What do I mean by 3 level down? Correct. In 2008, I was new to the academics, and one of my friends has told me, if you wanted to remain into the academics, you'll have to do PhD. I said, okay. Before that, I have completed my master's in a different years. I don't know anything about PhD. I've just heard about a PhD. After PhD, you can write doctor with your name. That's it. This is what I know. But I didn't know this is a degree or how this degree could be complete. So my friend, Mr. Rambabu Sridhar was suggesting me, you'll have to do PhD. I said, okay, I'll do a PhD, but how to do it? And Sridharji has suggested me, a book has to be written into a thesis, in terms of a thesis. I said, okay, I'm good in writing. I'll write a book, and that book, I'll call that book as a thesis, and I'll be awarded as PhD. So I visited one of the PhD supervisor. If you can recall, in earlier days, doing PhD was completely different. You'll have to run through different PhD guides so that somebody could give you a place under their guidance. So I was running with many behind many professors. I got one very sincere professor. He was very sincere since the beginning, and later he became my PhD supervisor too. Right? He asked me. He was the first person. He was the first professor who offered me a tea. Even I have visited his house to request him for being my PhD guy. He was the first one. Before to him, I have visited more than 10, or in fact more than more than 10 PhD supervisors, but nobody could have offered me even a glass of water. That's a different picture. That's a different story. He was the first person who has offered me a tea. Very sitting very calmly and discussing. He was asking me, "Well, what is your subject?" I said marketing. He asked me, "What do you? In which subject you wanted to do your PhD?" I said in marketing. He said, "What is your area of interest where you wanted to do PhD?" I said marketing. So he said, "You're having a good exposure of marketing, Rahul. But my question is, what will be your area of PhD?" This was the fourth time I responded in marketing. Right? He was very surprised. Okay. He was believing he'll ask any question and I'll respond marketing. He gave me a homework. Why don't you go back to your home, identify, look at your syllabus of your university, look at the thing, which is the most important, which is the most impressive subject for you out of the list of 6 electives or maybe 8 electives from the university mechanism. Okay. Within 2-3 days, I was again with him and he was asking me, what is the importance, which subject you are selected for your PhD? I said, services marketing. He said, very good. Now again he identified, again he gave me a homework. Again he gave me a homework. Out of the services, out of the book of services marketing, just read the table of contents of the services marketing. Look at a topic which is less explored, which is less discussed. Okay. I looked at a book of services marketing from this one, Ramneek Kapoor. Yeah, services marketing by Ramneek Kapoor. This was the only book which was available to me. Later on, I looked at a book of Christopher Lovelock and other books. And I find, sir, I wanted to do it into the services marketing triangle. He said, okay. Then he again gave me homework. Can you please identify some of the papers which are very relevant to the services marketing triangle? Those were the days when Google Scholar and everything was not easily available. These research papers were not easily available. But within a week, I returned and I said, sir, I wanted to do my research study on internal marketing. Now, can you identify the labels? The first label was services marketing. The second level was services marketing triangle. The third level was internal marketing under the whole domain of marketing. Right? This is why 3-level coding, 3-level deep digging has been considered very important for grounded theory. So if you're talking about grounded theory, if you wanted to reach to the cause, you are not being a doctor, you are not treating effect, we are trying to understand the cause. Somebody has suggested me, somebody has responded to a query, our sales is declining. Okay, this is the effect, sales is declining. This is not the cause. Cause could be, there could be a faulty product design. There could be less training for salespeople. There could be different ways, multiple things which could be resulting your sales decline. And you have thought, okay, sales is declining, increase the discounts. No, that's not the correct decision. Correct. And that is why Glasser and one of the fellow gentlemen along with the Glasser, forgetting his name, Glasser has started the discussion on grounded theory. Understand the basic underpinning, to understand the basic reasons behind a particular effect. So Glasser was a very strong believer. Effect is not important. Glasser and Strauss. Yes, Aritra Helder. Daminiji, I believe I have told a long story for 3-level coding. I believe you will be able to get it. I'll share the paper of Professor Day, don't worry. Not Corbin, it is Strauss. Glasser and Strauss was of a strong believer. Cause could be treated, cause need to be treated. Effect, if treated is better, but even if not treated is not better. So now I believe you have got an understanding when to use content analysis and when to use grounded theory. Is that okay with everyone? Say yes or no or something. This will help me in understanding. Okay. This is a very important section because if you understand this very clearly, when to apply what. Many of the courses are talking about how to do this with the NVivo, how to do this with the MAXQDA, how to do this with the other type of software. That's not the objective. Objective is we need to understand when to do it. Correct. Then next question, that the next section is again about content analysis. Content analysis is a comparison of skills of male and female nurses. Policy, story, maybe the foreign lenders will not be able to understand Champak and Nandan. Only the Indian participants will be able to understand what is Champak and Nandan. Champak and Nandan are the magazines for kids, where the kids will get cartoon stories. What is affecting them? What is appealing them? Which section is the most important section in Champak or maybe in Nandan? In advertisement. I'm sure all of you will be able to recall the advertisements of Seagrams. Manpreet ji, for grounded theory, what technique is used? I didn't get this question. Again, a kind of content analysis, a kind of thematic analysis, a kind of frequencies, reoccurrence. The process of systematically reducing data into codes is important. Sorry. Reducing data into codes and then doing analysis with the codes. Mostly frequency count is important again in terms of content analysis. A comparison of mission, vision, statement. I believe we have already talked about this. How children make sense of this world, how blinds see this world. This is a discourse analysis. Instead of what is said, instead of what is written on the face of your interview. Analysis is mainly based on linguistic markers. How you are reacting on that front. Speeches, pattern, emphasis, paralanguages sometimes, proximities, kinesics. When you focus on how meaning is derived, then it becomes part of semiotics also. Right? There are multiple things. How happy I am when I talk about say for example, Prithviraj Chauhan. Vice versa, how happy I am when I talk about Akbar. The important is not person, the important is not me, the important is my face expression, which one has to note down. Right? Very similar to the discourse analysis is narrative analysis. Which is very similar. In discourse analysis, you try to observe, you try to explore what is the discourse, what is the expression, what is the feeling. But in narratives, the sentences becomes important. What is representation of women in folklore and tales? Considering the potential of stories to give meaning to the research findings. Treating data as stories. Nowadays, storytelling is getting very, very important. Enabling reviewers to reduce data or a summary, data to a summary. Narrative analysis. What is said is more important. What is not said is not important. Narrative. What is said? The statements. Ethnography. We are going to have one specific session, one specific day. We'll be talking about ethnography. What is nursing practices of tribes of Andaman Nicobar Island? What is their sources? What is their ethnography? Graphy is a different ethno. Ethno means where they belongs to. Sometimes people say ethnography is about demographics, but I would say no, ethnography is not only about demographics. Ethnography is a tree. One part of that, one branch of that tree is about demographics, whereas there are other branches. We are not talking about simple demographics. We are not talking about simple classification. We are not even trying to talk about classification. We are trying to talk about insider view. This could be about a culture. This could be about a practice. This could be about any other aspect of even of that. Insider view is very important in that particular perspective, in that particular front. What people are talking about doctors on Twitter years before, maybe a year before, no, or maybe 1.5 years before, you just ask anyone, how do you feel about doctors? They are the criminals, they are the rascals, they are doing this. And if you go to the south, probably some advanced abuses could have been, you'll be able to find for the doctors and nurses and medical staff and even for paramedical staff. You can have a study of comparison, feelings, emotions about the doctors before COVID and after COVID. How this has changed. Emotions about medical supporting staff. Right? These are about text analytics, social data analytics, sometimes sentiment analytics. Sometimes is also called as netnography, which is very popular and new word. My spelling might be incorrect. Right? Netnography is simply, they have included here, net. Ethnography, instead of ethnography, they have included netnography. Correct? So these are the different terms, these are the different specifications which one has to deal with. This is what is a question. One very important question, with one very important submission for all of you. If you are using a qualitative analysis, do not look for hypothesis or any other ways. If you are writing a paper on qualitative analysis, you must have research question. Or if you do not have any research question, you must have a preposition. This is what we are trying to say, and this is what we will be able to say. So if your paper, which is based on this qualitative analysis, is not having any research question, is not having any preposition, the reviewer in first glance will reject it. Correct? Yes. So before moving to the further about steps in qualitative analysis and then several other examples, are we comfortable with the discussion, whatever we have done? Social network analysis is different than social media analysis? No, they are the same. My God, there are many questions. How hard is to publish articles with ethnography in the field of marketing? Any examples that could be? Let me give you one very good example in this case. And in fact, you will answer your question yourself. What do you think? Quantitative researchers are more in number, or qualitative researchers are more in number? This is what is example which I give to like I give to my daughter. My daughter suggests me. My daughter was asking day before yesterday, Dad, I wanted to go for medical. I said, okay. How many participants are there? It is not based on subjective. This is not a subjective thing. How many participants are there in medical NEET examination? Probably 20 lakhs. I'm not sure with the figures. How many seats they have? Somewhere about 2,000. What is per seat candidature? You'll say probably somewhere about 20. How many seats are for CA? No limitation. Anyone who can qualify, there is no limitation of seat. How many are the participants for CA? Probably 2 lakhs. No limitations. So I'll say even 2 lakhs. If they work hard, 2 lakh out of 2 lakh could pass, which is a better situation, right? I believe you will get this hint. Elena Marliuk. Yes, Marliuk. How is the text analytics different from narrative analytics? Bharaviji, I'll respond to this query a bit later. Social network analysis, Eritrea. I did not get this question. Yes, presentation of the research is very important in this case. Social networking analysis is different. No. Yes. What do you mean by preposition? Is it a hypothesis? It is a kind of hypothesis, but preposition is something I have proposed this and what I have got. Passing percentage is very high. I was having a word with one of the CA. How much you scored in the final examination? He said only 200. I said, what was your target? He was saying only 200 because there is no first class CA or second class CA or third class CA. If you have got 200, you are CA. If you get 199.9, then you are not CA. If you get 400 even, you will not get any gold medal in that. Yes, this one is a very impressive, very good paper, Deeptiman Banerjee ji. I would request whatever contents you are sharing to this chat box, also share these contents to your WhatsApp group also and make it a good community of qualitative analysis. Later on, we could make a good community of qualitative analysis and we can promote it. We are qualitative researchers. Okay. So should I proceed ahead? So I'll not get into what is the steps of qualitative analysis research. My objective is not to tell you about what is this coding and everything. We already had a discussion on this. But I'll focus here. What are the important key terms? Theoretical sampling. What do I mean by when I talk about sampling in terms of qualitative research? When do we consider to conduct content analysis and when to go for thematic analysis? Is there any relationship between these two? Vijayata ji, I don't have answer to your question because I've already answered the same question for about more than 5-6 times. Right? Damini ji is having a question, how to analyze a research question that seeks to study the perception of population regarding something. Perception is always about what? And when you're talking about what, content analysis is okay. Theoretical sampling. Most of the studies in qualitative analysis does have purposive sampling. This is what we all need to convince all of us. Most of the studies, when I say most means all. Most of the studies in qualitative analysis are having purposive sampling. So you need not to roam here and there. This is what has been said, and this is what is up. Everyone, because I'm looking to someone with a specific purpose. Right? I'm finding a cancer patient because this is what is my purpose of my studies. I'm finding a farmer. This is what is purpose of my study. I'm finding a girl who is driving a two-wheeler in a B grade town, because this is what is my purpose of study, right? Everywhere, most of the studies in qualitative analysis does have a purposive sampling. Qualitative sampling is mostly purposive and theoretical, right? You can say theoretical and purposive sampling, or purposive and theoretical sampling was adopted for this study. Sampling aims at theory generation. We are not having any objective of theory validation and verification. We are having objective of theory generation, mainly used in grounded theory. There is a specific session. There is a day when we specifically take a question. This is what is a question. This is how we need to take it for grounded theory. Rules for parental conflict on kids' health. All the kids who can verbalize the experience of conflict among parents are part of something. You'll be able to understand the purpose with the help of this exam. But most of you might have this question, might have this dilemma. Then what is this code? The smallest meaningful label of a data segment. That's it. Right? This is what is the definition which I got for which I get for codes. Smallest meaningful label to the data segment. Phrases that symbolically assign a summative, a silent, essence capturing, or evocating attributes of the portion of that language. So this paragraph is representing satisfaction. This paragraph is representing dissatisfaction. This paragraph is recoverable. This paragraph is irrecoverable. This paragraph is representing intentions. This paragraph is representing directions. This paragraph is representing this and that, right? And a category is a collection of code. Category in qualitative analysis is a collection of code. In MAXQDA especially, however, we will be covering all the types of coding, but in MAXQDA especially, we are having in vivo coding. When we have started, the genre of qualitative analysis have started, they have started two types of code. One is vivo code and another one is in vivo code, right? Sorry. Somebody has taken the advantage of and have taken created their software which is named as NVivo. That's a different story. So NVivo has nothing to do with the in vivo coding. In vivo is different and NVivo is different. In vivo coding is the practicing of assigning a label of a section to the data. So probably whole paragraph you wanted to convert whole paragraph as a code, like, or maybe a section of the data, like this one. Government is ignoring the sector and running for the technology. So probably there are three in vivo codes. One is running, one is ignoring, and third one is technology. You can talk about open coding. An open code is a label assigned to a text segment based on its property. Break down the text and assign a label to each item and each text, what is important and what is not important. So when you code everything, government is a code, sector is a code, food is a code, technology is a code, this will be called as open coding. But when you are very specifically talking about ignoring running and technology, this will be called as in vivo coding, because you are reading the whole chunk of the paragraph and then converting those paragraphs in terms of in vivo coding, right? This open coding is also sometimes called as vivo coding. In some good books, you'll find it as vivo coding. So simply labeling maybe a government or maybe government plus or maybe government in positive sense or maybe government in negative sense. While doing open coding, look for properties also. However, properties is not the objective in all the cases. Government as a political agency or government as a regulatory agency. If it is a regulatory agency, then government plus. If it is a political agency, if it is a political dealing, then government minus could be the code. Right? If when you talk about government, both the times it is government. You cannot say this is a government and this is a some other word. You cannot represent it by some other word. You'll have to call them as government. But government as a regulatory body or government as a political body. If it is a political body, this is what is a individual's choice. You can talk about categories. The similar codes are assigned with the single category. Dimensions or graded arrangement of code is possible. Dimensions we'll discuss a few minutes later. Dimensions will come. If you have already looked about data analytics, probably you'll find dimensions are qualitative analysis. Say for example, male or female, or maybe different other type of categories, different other type of formulation. A graded arrangement of codes if possible, which is very, very difficult if you are not using demographics to the study. References, Dr. Barnett's. I'll share one of the paper from Dr. Barnett, so don't worry for that. Axial codings. What is the objective of axial coding? Axial coding, look at the name of axial. Axial means there is one axis and then everything will surround this situation. Its process of relating all the categories, approaches become deductive now, right? Relating government, technology, agencies, NGOs, village communities, moderators, buffer, mediators, representatives, devil's advocate. What is this and that? See, we start from the larger chunks and we end up with the smaller chunks. And the midpoint is called as axial codings. And axial codings are always good in number, large in number, but smaller from the open coding. There is another example of axial coding when we talk about there are many categories causing one condition. Then axial coding talks about context, strategies, and confounding condition. And these are what are consequences. The conditions that give rise to it. Means cause is very important in this case. This one. Right? Context into which is embedded is again very important. Action, interaction strategies. These are also very important in this case. Axial means you can always find. Axial means always in between. Larger from the actual consequences, but smaller from the actual text which you have covered. Selective coding, this one. You can see selective coding. We are talking about this one. Very, very narrowing down, a narrow point is called as selective coding. You will have to convert from the larger chunk, you will have to code as axial coding. Many of you might be thinking, what is axial coding? What is, somebody has asked this question. That is why I incorporated this later on. Earlier, this was not the part of this presentation, but somebody was asking about axial coding and selective coding and all other codings. Selective coding is a smaller part. What is the theory? What is the ultimate theory behind it? Right? I'll share some of the papers with you. Don't worry for these codings and everything. So these are the important terminologies in if you are using MAXQDA. Cases are individual subjects, participants. So respondent A, Soni Rajput, respondent B, Rahul Kaurav, respondent 3, say for example, Bhairavi, respondent 3 is about Manpreet, respondent 4 is about, these all are known as cases in terms of MAXQDA. Codes. Codes gather all the responses to a question at one place so that identification and development of themes becomes easy. In NVivo, nodes and codes are synonyms of each other. Don't be confused, sir. I'm using NVivo software. Their nodes are given. Don't worry, they are same things. Attributes are the descriptors of cases. That case Amit is male, lives in Bangalore. If you can recall in the first class, I have shown you one of the demographic. CEO of one company, female, and age group is this. Living in a grade city or a B grade city. So all other attributes. Or MAXQDA also confuses with variables. Attributes are also called as variables. And then classification is grouping of cases on the basis of some criteria, grouping of all cases according to country or a gender or a specific situation. Right. So this was about whole discussion on the basics of qualitative analysis. Having another slides. Uh, choosing a method of this one we are just talking about, interview. How to prepare interview protocol and how to conduct an interview. Right? This is the discussion. Are we having a question? Okay. Yes, we are having a good question. When do we consider to conduct a content analysis and when do we go for thematic analysis? I believe this is an old question. Sir, answer my question, please. How to analyze a research question that seeks to the study of perception of population regarding something? Perception of population. This is about frequencies. What is perception? What is the content? So probably somebody is find sentimentally connected, emotionally connected. Somebody was asking, are you emotionally connected with your present organization? And I was sharing, I've already served for about 8 years with my present organization. How can you criticize my present organization in front of me? That's not possible. I'll not allow you to do that. Even if you are dissatisfied, I'll not allow you to do that. I'm emotionally connected. Maybe it's a population. When the same has happened with a student, one student who has completed BBA and then again MBA from the same institute and again criticizing. And I asked them very simply, if you find there are so many dilemmas, there are so many situations with your present institution, with your present organization, why you have spent these much time with that? So when you're talking about perception of population regarding something, it is always about content. This content could be any platform, could be at any platform, could be at Facebook, could be at Twitter, could be at YouTube, could be at any other thing, right? But this is a content analysis. Yes, Manpreet ji sharing kahani puri ho chuki. I didn't get this question. Surbhi ji, what is the sentiment analytics? Is it a perception study? No. Sentiment analytics is not perception study. Sentiment analytics is identifying these are like whether your audience are positive about your advertisement. Say, for example, it is I'm evaluating advertisement. If I'm evaluating advertisement, the advertisement of Seagram's Man Will Be Man, the very recent advertisement from this Nawazuddin Siddiqui. I'm not able to recall the exact name, but how beautiful was Reena today with the specific color of clothes. And then suddenly his wife asked from the background, what Shahid was wearing today? Can you recall the color of tie? And then this Seagram's advertisement, Man Will Be Man. That's correct. Sentiment analytics. YouTube, this was a very popular advertisement. Twitter, this is not a popular advertisement. Now reasons are, the sentiments on YouTube are different, but the sentiments on Twitter are different. Why? Because on YouTube, people have come to enjoy the video content, but on Twitter, people have not come to enjoy the content. On Twitter, people have come to evaluate. This is what is the difference. Right? So sentiment analytics is not a perception study. Maybe you can call it a perception of different groups, yes, but not always. You can make a comparison among perception. You can make a evaluation for what will be the contents or what will be the part of next advertisement also. That could be other things. While using content analysis, we can do thematic or content analysis in the same manner while using grounded theory as a base. Is there some techniques which could be exclusively used by using any software? There is no specific technique. Everything will remain same. Nothing is different. Only looking at a situation, looking at a perspective, the name of test will change, right? When you're talking about content analysis, thematic analysis, the frequency of those small codes are important. When we're talking about grounded theory, frequency is not important. The relationship with that. If they're talking about pain, are they talking about a specific color? If they're talking about a specific situation, are they talking about a specific profession? When they are talking about price changes, are they increasing prices? Are they talking about political party in that way? So when you're talking about thematic analysis, content analysis, or all other text analysis or narrative analytics, Sentiment analytics, even everything is a kind of content. Sentiment analytics is also a kind of content, correct? And when you find these contents together, this all the things could be covered under content analysis. There is no specific thing. When you're talking about frequency, this is a content analysis. When you are talking about cause and effect, this is a grounded theory analysis. Bhairviji is asking, sir, could you please explain this again? Sir, what is this vivo and in vivo? Is not clear. Vivo is open coding and in vivo is specific coding. Vivo is open coding, whereas in vivo is a specific coding, and in vivo is also called as Excel codings also. Okay. Correct. Is there any doubt? The present discussion? 30. Are you looking for a tea break? No. Could we say in vivo is contextual? Yes, sometimes, not always, not always. Attributes. They are the descriptors of cases. So say, for example, I'll create a slide on next one. This is a table. Number of columns are 5 and number of rows will always also be 5. Yeah. This is a respondent. Respondent name. After respondent name, their gender, their age, their profession, their religion. In India, caste is more important than religion. Correct? So say, for example, respondent is Rahul, gender is male, age is 37, profession is a teacher, caste is, you can say, general, or maybe OBC, religion is Hindu. Correct? So these are the things which are known as attributes. This Rahul is a case. Rahul is a case. What I will do? Yes, Rahul is a case. But these are all other things are attributes to the case. Correct? Tweets token generation or software. Didn't get this question, Dr. Katoj. Is it possible to develop a scale by listening videos on one particular theme? Yes, definitely you can do it. One of my friend has developed a scale, though it is not a published paper. He has evaluated some videos of Baba Ramdev, and most of the time he talks about health and well-being. This is what is a key contributor to the success of Baba Ramdev. He does not talks about his well-being. He does never talks about the country's well-being. Most of the time. Will you demonstrate? Is not possible for me because of due to the limited time. Right. So he has evaluated more than 120 videos of Baba Ramdev, and then he has identified the contents of Baba Ramdev's video: health, well-being, say for example, physical activities, or these many codes. He could identify about more than 50-60 codes, which is I call them Excel codings. And then he talks about this one. He has identified the construct on that front. When he identified the constructs on that front, probably there are 10 in principle things, retrospective things, which we were able to see. Sir, that means while grounded theory, the perspective of researcher matter while analyzing the text. While analyzing the text or the interview, that what was a cause and what is a perceived effect. Am I right? Yes, you are 100% right, and that is why Manpreet ji, I have categorically mentioned it, very categorically mentioned it, you need not to be biased person if you are doing qualitative analysis. You need not to be optimistic. You need not to be pessimistic. You only need to be realistic. Correct? I believe you understand this. So if you are influenced by anyone, do not dive into the qualitative ocean of qualitative analysis. If BJP can influence you, do not dive. If Congress could, you are having an emotional attachment with the Congress or government of AAP. If you are having any of these situation, probably you find there is completely different perspective on that. Correct? Okay, let me move to the second part of the today's discussion. Oh my God, we are running the less of time. Okay. Yes, Meghna Patilji, you can have both the things. Interviews and documents could be analyzed together, right? So let me start at the interview and protocol on all other prospects. Though the slides are very less, the number of slides are very less, but I'm not sure how much time this will take. But yes, we'll be running about 20 minutes late. So I would expect kind support from all of you, so that we could complete today's agenda. Don't worry. Interviews are a main qualitative technique. All of us knows it. They allows a researcher to prove into the thoughts, experiences, and perceptions of the participants, which is very important. Thoughts, experiences, and perceptions of the participants, which is very important to all of us understanding. Thoughts, what they are thinking about. Experiences, what they have already felt about. Perceptions, you can see everything has been passed. So they have already faced it. They have already completed their experience. Everything they have completed. Now you are trying to. There is one of the case study from Professor Nimit Chaudhary in his book of services marketing. He has written this case study about a hotel. There is a very popular, very renowned hotel in Jaipur, renowned property of Rajasthan Tourism Development Corporation. One of the other professor was staying in that hotel, and that hotel was having a marriage on the same day. The rooms of the hotel were very good in quality. The waiters, the serving person, everything was very good in the hotel. But that professor was staying in that hotel for taking a rest, whereas simultaneously arranging a marriage for some other party was very difficult because that professor could not sleep the whole night. And by the next day, in the midnight or other ways, he has tried to complain. They said, sir, there is a marriage, we cannot help. Experiences. Now, once they have a bad experience on this front, I believe you will be able to understand what will be their perception before next visit to the same hotel. Correct? So for understanding the perspective, so for understanding that perspective, that experiences, that perception, questionnaire or interview can be used as a main complementary source of the data. Questions could be reworked, expanded as a project develops. These are the major steps for designing an interview study. Multiple times you have heard about designing a questionnaire. This is the first time you might be hearing about designing an interview. Identifying the structure of interview. I believe most of us are teachers of faculty members of business management, and all of us, most of us must have studied the business communication. And when we talk about interviews, there is 3 very popular structures of interviews. structured or not structured. And the third one is having face-to-face or non-face-to-face. Right? We'll discuss this in detail. Determining the methods of interview, getting prepared for interviews, how to prepare even yourself before getting an interview. So you are not interviewee, but you are interviewer, and being interviewer, what are the preparations, what are the precautions which one has to take? What are the data collection tools? How you can collect these data? How to conduct potential interviews? How to interview is most important part of the today's discussion. Denaturalized and naturalized approaches. Many of you might be listening this at first time. Denaturalization and naturalization approaches of interview, and how to manage your data of interview. Let us discuss them one by one. So when we talk about the structure of interview, conversational interviews, description, information, discussion about the participant, tell me something about yourself. Benefits are spontaneous generation of the question, you don't know. Even sometimes you have decided a structured questionnaire. Sometimes you have decided to be a structured questionnaire. What is the limitation of the structured questionnaire? Sometimes you won't be able to get the good data because you are not spontaneous into that. If you're not spontaneous in deciding your question, the respondent is sharing something and you're not taking their inputs, you're not taking their data. This is like you'll be helpless or you'll be clueless. Lack of comparability between responses. You will not be able to compare interview during fieldworks. Then guiding interviews. General set of guiding questions that are asked to the interviewees also allows some spontaneous and can provide measures of comparability. Life story, achievers success story, biographics one, narrative interviews. Sir, can you tell us what is your success features? What is your success mantras? Guiding interviews, semi-structured. You have part of the questions which are fixed, but part of the questions will be decided after the responses from the interviews. What do you think these policemen in crime patrol or CID, which type of interview, which type of interrogations they have? Can you help me? Can they afford to have a structured responses? Yes, Bharviji is sharing semi-structured one. Should we ask them guiding interview? Sir, can you please tell us how you have done, how you are able to successfully complete this crime? Initially, they have started with the conversational. Okay, you have caught us. We have caught you. Tell me whatever you wanted. Then they identify the clues, the lacuna in that story. And then they start with the guiding interviews. And then they start with the semi-structured interview. And if they are in court, the court has to do with the fixed responses. Kumar Sauravji, can we research, can we, I think a word is missing, can be a research model, question formed an interview, then thematic course for discussion. Yes, this is 100% your choice. In qualitative analysis, this is 100% your choice for that particular part. Yeah, I think there are some good number of private window questions, private window post. Sir, can we please shift this discussion to the next class? I don't have any problem to discuss today, but if you are facing several challenges, I would understand there is a time limitation, and after 8 or maybe 8:30, there will be a dinner time to everyone. So instead of discussing interview panel, we'll take this part to the next class, and we can take several questions here for next 10-15 minutes.
Sure, sir.
People have started thanking me.
Yeah, I understand because it is almost dinner time.
Yeah, so I'm completely with them. That is your dinner time. Please take your dinner comfortably. I'll handle the queries from some of you, and we'll take this part into the next class. Incorporate this discussion into the next class.
So we are only left with this part only from today's agenda, right?
Yes.
Okay. So should I just unmute them?
Yes, you
Also,
can.
the-
Yes, definitely. Till I'll take one question from Damini ji. Sir, is it possible to do content analysis from semi-structured interview schedule? Yes, you can do that. We have a class of tomorrow. What's time? I believe we do not have any class tomorrow. We have a class on Sunday, and there will be 2 classes on Sunday.
correct, sir.
How many interviews need? Yes, Vijay, I'm with you. Yes, Arvind ji is having a question. How many interviews need to be conducted? So there is a principle. Hello.
So yeah.
So there is a principle, Arvind Mahajan. The principle is named as principle of saturation. So say, for example, you have asked me about spirituality, and you could identify 3-4 themes are emerging, right? Then you interview Shalini ma'am.
So please unmute yourself. I'm so sorry.
Yes, sir. Then you interview Shalini ji, and she has got 2-3 new dimensions. Then you interview Aritra Haldar ji, and you will get 2-3 new dimensions. Say, for example, you have interviewed about 10 individuals, and then finally you find after 11th interview or after 12th interview, there is nothing which is new, which is coming to your discussion, which is coming to your focus group discussion, which is coming to your interview discussion. Then it is advisable to stop your interviews there. So the sample size is actually, or the interview size, they are not actually decided based on any formula. They are decided based on principle of saturation. You are about to get about 5, 6, or maybe 7, 10, or maybe 10, 20, or maybe whatever number of themes, and you're not getting anything new, even if you interview 10 or maybe 20 people. So the size of sample will always be decided based on principle of saturation. Okay.
But sir, sorry sir, continuing with the same question. Now I get it, how you said that the saturation point, but when we are interviewing, we do not pause, to do the analysis of, what we are getting as a response. That
Correct.
comes at a later stage.
Correct.
So while I understand what you're saying, I'm just looking at it, how do I incorporate it?
Being a qualitative researcher, at least you'll get an idea if you're typing or if you're doing it. You'll get at least an idea. Are you getting something new to the interviews?
Okay.
If you are noting it down, or if you are writing it down, or if you are typing it down even, I believe you will get a fair idea. Are you getting something new out of this interview? You have conducted 2, 3, or maybe 5 or 10 interviews, and you are not getting anything which is new. Then you should stop.
Okay. All right. Right, sir. Thank you.
So can you tell me the concept of ontology in qualitative research?
Can we take this question into the next class?
Sure, sir. Because I'm trying to write something on ontology and I find it quite confusing.
There are multiple.
Sir, what should be the sample size here? Any specific sample size in the?
I think Arvind Mahajanji will be able to help you in this question, or maybe some other person. There is one lady who has asked this question. I'm not sure with the name. Right? She can help you in that. Right.
Thank you. Can I ask something?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I've read your paper, the one you are analyzing the policy. And could you get time, maybe possibly, to practically analyze a policy for us in the software? Maybe it will help.
Pardon the question, please. You have read my paper, which is a new education policy, or you are asking copy of this paper?
No. I've read the paper. But understanding the concept of analysis in that paper was a little bit difficult for me.
Okay.
Though I found it very interesting analysis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is a paper where we have analyzed, because India has very recently witnessed a new education policy which has been released in 2020, midway of COVID-19. Right? We have tried to understand with the help of qualitative analysis, with the help of these many different aspects, we have tried to understand what were the major issues with the India was facing before new education policies, which is a part of introduction section in the paper. Then second part is focusing about what are the major challenges which India is witnessing in the present era of education, which is by the digital mode, which is by the digital technology. The third part of this section, the third part of this paper is about what are the major concerns which has been solved by the new education policies. I'll share this screenshot again, not a screenshot. I'll share my screen. Just so we have started with this point. What are the major problems? Education policies has find these are the concerns of higher education courses in terms of we are not, India is rich with the professional courses, but not rich, not familiar with the vocational courses. India has not got any freedom of entry and exit in the courses. Language, India is focusing English in totality, which every one of us started believing nowadays. So local languages, the mother tongue has been promoted with this new education policy. The third language has got a chance, which is not the part of the earlier education policies and the students' concern. Now you'll be a bit surprised when they talk about students. What is their major concern with students? So when they talk about students, they talk about help mechanism of a student is very weak in Indian higher education systems. When they talk about students, they talk about student exchange from foreign countries, from international countries is being promoted with this international, with this new education policy. International students, young students, equipping students. When they talk about language, they talk about English language, natural language processing, foreign language, Indian language, and regional languages also, third language also.
So
When
these were drawn out of the interviews by yourself or
this is a
using some
policy analysis. This is a
Acha,
policy
policy
analysis. This,
analysis.
this is
Okay.
not an interview.
Okay.
And then, which is the fourth section of this paper, though this paper has identified a bit about sentiment analytics, we are not trying to identify what if people are negative, what they are negative about. So looking at the policy, looking at the Twitter, we were able to identify the people were moderately positive on this segment. When we look at the second part of this paper, which is very recently published, the second part is also published of this paper, which is completely based on sentiment analytics. No, this one is old one. Theoretical extensions. This is the second part. Earlier I have shown you the first part. This is the second part of the paper. Theoretical extension of new education policy 2020 using Twitter mining. So this time we have not analyzed any policy. This time we have analyzed data using Twitter. Data has been collected from Twitter. You can see again a word cloud which has been created. We were able to identify from Twitter, very less number of people were negative. Good number of people are neutral, and almost equal number of people are slightly positive, and a good number of people are positive. But we have tried to identify those who were very positive, what were their major themes. See this, new education policy 2020 has a special emphasis, inclusion and equity, praiseworthy effort, defined independent and everything. Major themes of moderately positive one, major themes of negative comments on Twitter. Negative comments, most of the negative comments were about confusion, challenges in implementation,
तो जो
challenges in
part
implementation.
आपने NVVO से उसमें sentiment analysis से ये सारे थीम उससे निकाले ये जो
ये सारे
tables
थीम हमने निकाले हैं. They have not been extracted with the software. They have been extracted manually with the software of MAXQDA. The first paper was based on NVVO. The second paper is based on MAXQDA.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So you said when we are talking about what we do content analysis and thematic analysis, but we are fine. But when we find cause and effect, we do grounded theory.
Yes.
But what if the question is, the question says, what is the effect of certain thing? Now there is effect also and what also. So what to opt, the grounded theory or the thematic or content analysis?
I gave you an example. I just come out of my house and I'm asking where this road goes. If you do not know you want to go Delhi, nobody will be able to help you, right? What is your question is the first question. You wanted to identify what, or you wanted to identify why, or you wanted to identify how. You need to decide it first. If you can't decide this first, no software, no analysis, no research could help you in that, right?
Yeah, but sir, the research question says, what is the effect of judgment on population?
Correct.
So my confusion arises about now where to focus more, the what part on what part, or the effect part.
First part is obviously what, right?
Okay.
What content on the first axis, content on the first variable, and content on the second variable. The first focus should be on what, but the major focus, which is a second focus, should be on why also.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So in MAXQDA, we got, by making word cloud, we got certain codes thrown by the software. So if we actually remove all this stop words by adding them to the stop list, and then we are remained with the particular words. So can we take it up as a deductive qualitative analysis?
No.
Or no? Okay.
Deductive qualitative analysis is when you have pre-decided your codes. My codes will be out of, say, for example, when we do sentiment analytics, you can see this. Whenever I perform a sentiment analytics, I am limited to classify my data into these 5 categories. These 5 categories, right? And what are those 5 categories? Positive, slightly positive, neutral, slightly negative, and negative. This is deductive one because my criteria of codes, my decision of codes is decided, already decided. Inductive is when I know nothing, which is in the first paper of this analysis, new education policy. I know nothing about it. Higher education is concern is the major theme, and that higher education concern has found three concerns: courses, languages, and students. That was inductive one, and this is deductive one.
So, if I may say that we are already using a particular scale of, say, intentionality, and then using that scale to, we've collected data, interviews, and then we are analyzing those interviews using this particular scale. So this would be deductive qualitative study. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kannan has written a essay. Mr. Kannan, if you can ask a question in brief, that will help me and all other participants also.
Yeah, my question is, I read somewhere that the sample size is sometimes determined based on principle of minimization. So I didn't understand what is principle of minimization. And secondly,
principle of
minimization.
Okay, principle of minimization. Okay.
Yeah, and secondly, with respect to the sample size determination, it seems that in some articles it was written that you don't have any specific calculation formula for the qualitative research to determine the sample size as we get in quantitative analysis. So normally it is between, you don't have higher sample size, it is restricted.
Your voice is cracking in between.
Yeah, so in case of qualitative research, the sample size is smaller compared to the quantitative one. So mostly it is between 10 to 200. So I wanted to have your perception of that. And also it depends on outcomes, conditions, and cases. So how they are related. So for each outcome, how many conditions should be there, and for each condition, how many cases should be there to determine that condition. So based on that,
my question is, what is the question? Simply post the question.
Question is how to calculate the sample size in qualitative research.
Yes, we had a discussion multiple times. There is no specific formula of deciding a sample size. Only one thing, one principle, which is called as principle of saturation, can help you. Principle of minimization can also help you, but for that you need to have large sample. So say, for example, you are collecting, and for that you need to have large population also. So say, for example, you need to collect the data from how many of us have preferred Fair and Lovely because we wanted to get fairer, because we find those who are fairer has got a better acceptance in community. You will find a larger population, you will find a larger sample size also. In that case, minimizing the sample will help you, but sample of minimization does never mean we are asking for minimum sample sizes. No, we are still talking about, when we talk about minimization, how many minimum sample can get you saturated data so that nothing new could be counted. But then if you are following the principle of minimization, you will fall with the dilemma which some lady has asked in between. While collecting the data, we are not sure, we are not doing data analysis. So you'll be in dilemma what to do and what not to do. So I would recommend over the principle of minimization, principle of saturation is always recommended in that case.
Thank you.
But sir, 200 sample size, won't it be an near to impossible task when it comes to qualitative analysis? Because coding even a
That's
half-page
correct.
paragraph creates such a cumbersome when we have to multiply it by 10. So if I have a 10 interview papers of half a page length, I have struggled personally. So 200, won't it be a mammoth task?
You are absolutely correct, but we have some superhumans among us. Right?
Okay.
Right. People are doing qualitative researches with sample size of more than 200.
My God, hats off to them if they are able to do it and get out any content.
We are researchers and we have got several superhumans among us.
So, Professor, this is Saurabh here.
Yes.
Are you going to share both the papers on your NEP and
I'll
the
do
other
that.
one?
I'll do that.
Are we going to talk anything about case analysis also of one of the qualitative thing?
Case analysis, I believe no.
Okay.
Right. However, I'm not sure of the contents of other resource persons of this course. If any one of them is covering case analysis, I'm not sure with their contents.
So we're not covering case analysis.
There is a question from Savitaji. How did you decide it for very positive and moderately positive? There is a dictionary which is called as lexical dictionary. Lexical dictionary has a division of very positive and slightly positive or maybe moderately positive. So based on the dictionary, the softwares automatically you might be using MAXQDA, you might be using NVivo, you might be using any other software. Based on the dictionary, these softwares could identify this tweet of this particular individual is very positive or moderately positive. Lexical dictionary is very important in that.
So is it inbuilt in that, sir?
Most of the time it's built in that.
Okay.
This is a part of QDAS, computer assisted qualitative data analysis softwares.
Okay, I mean, my question is one last question. I just wanted to know that, like, are there particular journals which accept qualitative analysis, and otherwise,
I have sent you one of the PPT, which is having a list of qualitative analysis associations, free associations and free sources which you can join. And this list is also having a list of journals which are specifically publishing the papers in terms of qualitative analysis. And there are more than 27 journals on Scopus and about 7 or maybe 12 journals on Web of Science also. If it is not given, just let me know on the group. I'll post this presentation for you on the group. Don't worry.
Sure. Because many of them require quantitative and not, I mean, qualitative.
However, all the papers, because there are good number of journals which are having qualitative in their name, but there are very few, rarest of rare journals which are having quantitative in their names. Most of the journals which are publishing quantitative approach paper, they are also publishing qualitative approach. That's rarest of rare. I believe no journal, no editor will say you, no editor will ask you if we are publishing only quantitative approach based papers.
Yeah, that's true. Many of them are doing mixed methods, I believe. Mixed methods.
Many of them. Top category journal says, yes, they are doing mixed method. I believe we are covering mixed method in a day.
So when will be covering this survey of literature? Which class?
That's on 25th.
25th.
25th and 23rd probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll post the schedule once again in the group.
Yeah, because some of us are actually working on a paper with survey of literature. So maybe we could do it simultaneously then as soon as we. Correct.
I'll supply you a PowerShell on that. You can use that PowerShell for your MaxQDA or any other software you wanted to use.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
I don't think we have a question.
Any other? It's not there in the chat box. Maybe if you're having anything in your personal chat window,
No, nothing is personal as a personal message. Only Vijeta ji has posted a last question. In fact, it is a comment. Please share the qualitative journal list. I'll share that. Skill developed on the basis of
the papers. We need the reference papers.
Katuji, I didn't get your question here. Skill developed on the basis of video content analysis sufficient, or we need to empirically test. For a skill development base, initially you can start. This is what we have. We had a discussion since the beginning. Theory development is the objective of qualitative analysis, not the theory testing. If you wanted to test a theory, if you wanted to test a skill, you need to adopt quantitative approach for that.
So we are. So may I ask a question, sir? So we are
yes,
a peculiar situation. We started off administering questionnaires, and after a point, we weren't
able. A bit cracking. I cannot hear you very clearly.
Sir, sir, am I audible? Sir, so we started out by administering questionnaires, and halfway through, like there were some lockdowns, and we weren't able to access them. So we got permission to conduct the interview by telephone. So can we utilize this data together? Because
why not?
We had a data
you have to simply type those transcripts, and that's it. Okay. Even if you have conducted several interviews over phone, yes, you have to type those transcripts, and then you can definitely analyze those scripts together.
Together, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Rupinder ji, you are asking about R software for Twitter analytics. I didn't get this question. We will not be using R. We'll be using MaxQDA for Twitter analysis. Yes. I think we have.
Yeah, I think we have. Any other question, participants? If you have anything, you can please ask.
Questions are saturated now.
Yeah, we've achieved the saturation point.
So we just wanted to check that the availability of the first lecture also is there, no, on the cloud.
Yeah, ma'am, it is still there. You can download. Okay. I've already shared the link.
I mean, did anybody else have a problem for downloading? Because actually I was not able to do. Maybe I'll try it today once again.
You just need to have a good network. That's it.
Okay.
Otherwise,
I have just one question.
Yes, please.
This telephonic interview is fine, perfectly fine, right? For the qualitative study.
Pardon, please.
Telephonic interview is perfectly fine for the qualitative study?
Yes. Why not?
Okay.
Hello.
Can you listen?
Hello.
There is one question. Can you listen?
Please ask.
Yes, please. Hello.
There is one question. Is it audible?
I think there is a noise which is inbuilt in your mic or some other problem. Whenever you start speaking, there is other noise which comes in.
You can ask, sir, or you can type in the chat box.
Yes. We can't hear you, Jitendra Chandra Sahaji.
So he's asking, will there be a Facebook analysis?
Will there be Facebook analysis? As a part of this session, yes, there will be a specific session when we'll be doing this all social media analytics, ethnography, and all other ways. On the same day, we'll be doing Facebook analysis also.
I think that's enough, sir, for the day.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And thank you, participants, for staying with us. Thank you, sir. And please note that we will not be having any class tomorrow. There's going to be two sessions rather on Sunday. One from 11 to 1 and another again 6 to 8 in the evening on Sunday. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.